So, guys, I was talking with Mandy before. She told me something really interesting about kind of movies and how. So, just the past week, I was watching a movie at the cinema, and in the movie, how there's always this like hero and this person that's making a lot of like big moves and succeeds and get all the fame at the end. Well, like we could do that pretty much all the time ourselves. But that hero is going to go through a lot of pain, a lot of failures, and bad moments that we really don't want to go through, right? We don't like that. So really important for you to be able to go through that. And Mandy's going to talk exactly about that today. So I'm really excited. Just last quick things. We have Hendrik. Welcome, Hendrik. And we have from France. Wonderful. Ninja Potato. That's good. Wonderful. South Africa. Awesome. Cool. So, Mandy, I'll let you rock with that. And I don't know where you want to start, but it's going to be an awesome topic today. And we'll just go forward. If you guys have any questions, comment below and we'll answer your question as always.
So where I want to start is, as Etienne said, we always love watching someone going through the trials and tribulations of life. But then, when we, how is Straya is hot today, when we go through our own trials and tribulations, often, we feel despondent, we feel worried, we think we can't make it, and we don't want to experience that. So what I found really helpful also for myself and for my own trials and tribulations, because the reason why I have trials and tribulations is because I choose to live a life that's bigger than me and to grow into something that's bigger than me all the time. And it doesn't matter if you start off with trials and tribulations being something like, I don't know, making your bed every day. That can be as challenging for some as going out and changing the world. So it doesn't matter what the level is. We don't take any ego in that, but every trial and tribulation is the stepping stone for the next one, for the next one, for the next one, so we can grow into bigger and better people. And as I said, where people love watching, especially guys, love watching a good story about, like, let's look at the Born Identity, for example, those movies. Let's look at the James Bonds. They all are close to dying and then somehow they make it. And if you look at Star Wars, unfortunately, last Star Wars was a total flop, apparently. But if you look at Star Wars, how Star Wars was created, and also I think The Matrix is based on John Campbell's The Hero's Journey. And the hero's journey is something that we all go through over and over and over again because you go on to different levels in life. So, hero's journey, as I said, might start with something like making up your bed every morning. That can be an enormous effort for some people, and we don't want to disregard that. And can be something as big as what Etienne is creating, a community for traders where it is actually possible to live your dream and to become successful and live the life of a full-time Forex trader. That's like a massive hero's journey, I can tell you, right? The trials and tribulations that Etienne goes through. But we are leaning in, we are not trying to hide from the challenges. We are leaning in, we are seeking the challenges. And, talking about seeking challenges, now Etienne goes on a new adventure, traveling through Asia whilst running the academy. Oh, it will be fun. And I can't wait to hear about all your challenges and the great stories as well. But the challenges is really that when we listen to what other people went through, it makes it possible for us to also achieve that. Who has heard about the hero's journey? Can you guys give me some feedback? Otherwise, I'll give you a little bit of an information what the hero's journey is from Joseph Campbell.
Yeah.
Campbell.
I know Mandy has a really nice framework to talk about that topic, but if you guys know what it's about or you have a clue, comment below and let us know. And then we can go through the whole framework and share a little bit kind of how the different steps work and how you can use it basically. But yeah, it's a whole mess here because I'm just packing like these past few hours. Like everything's a mess, but yeah, it doesn't matter. So I would yeah. So Rylan never heard about it. Okay, good.
Yeah. All right. So, especially for Ryland, thank you for letting us know. I'll take you through the hero's journey. So, what happens first is so this is, for example, this is part of one of my trainings where I take traders through the hero's journey. Um, what happens is we have our life, simple life. We are not happy. No, we're even unhappy. We go to work. We have Groundhog Day where every day seems to be the same. Our relationships are not happy. Whatever it is, something in our life just doesn't feel right. And then we get the call to adventure. Actually, the best hero's journey ever is Etienne, help me. What's the name of the movie that was shot in New Zealand? And it's the of the Rings, Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Okay.
Lord of the Rings is the best hero's journey ever. So you see the little gnome in his house having a good life, all is happy, and no challenges at all. And there is this feeling of something is missing in life. And then he gets the call to adventure where he has to leave his house and go on to an adventure. And so this is what happens. Hobbits, thank you, little hobbit. Um, and this is what happens with traders, right? So we do our work, we feel like we don't get anywhere, and then we come across the wonderful world of trading. And it's like, wow, this call to adventure. And we think that's easy. I can make millions too. I can be successful too, because that's what marketing tells us. And then there is this threshold. It's like suddenly we realize, wow, that's actually not as easy as I thought so. And they have hairy feet. Yeah, big hairy feet as well. So the threshold is the first challenge, the blockage that we have to get through. And we feel, oh my God, what's happening? I can't make it. I can't, I had this dream and I might fail. And then what happens next in life, always without fail, no matter which trader I talk to, somebody comes to help. They find a mentor. They find someone who has been through the same journey or is currently going through the same journey and says, hey, I'm part of Etienne's Academy. Why won't you join us? Because we are all helping each other. Yeah, so there's always some sort of help or mentor coming in. And there's the challenges and temptations. So it gets, you actually, instead of getting better, it spirals deeper and deeper and deeper into the abyss until you hit rock bottom and the old you dies. The old you has to die. And a new you emerges out of from within yourself. And we say, um, you have discovered the trader within you. The trader within you has come out. And now the journey starts going up. And so there's transformation, there's atonement, and you receive the gift of the gods, which is, new insights into life, having a new appreciation, understanding for what the heroes go through. And you return to your, yeah, like Pinocchio becoming a real boy. Fantastic. So all these stories we like to watch, right? But when we go through it, we feel like we have to stay in the abyss. We are going to die and we will never have a rebirth of a new person. And I always say, if you had known me 15 years ago, I was a very different person than I'm today. I was very neurotic. I'm still neurotic, but I have a better handle on it. I use my neuroticism now to achieve success rather than being held back by it. And I was very disempowered. And I never thought that I can achieve the level of success that I have achieved today. Never ever thought about it. It was just not a possibility until I received the call to adventure and had to go through the hero's journey again and again and again. And 2018 is a new hero's journey. So what I do with my life every new year, I now seek hero's journey. I'm like, what could be my hero's journey this year? And I seek something that I'm scared of and that I know that I don't have the skill for as yet, and that I have to learn the skills and have to become a bigger and greater and more disciplined and more patient and more dedicated and more balanced and more whatever it is person to grow into. And then I seek out mentors. I have mentors just the same. And I seek out mentors who challenge me, who don't sweet talk me, and who give it to me back straight. And it hurts, I can tell you, oh my God. But now, if you choose your hero's journey and you don't become at the effect of life and being in some really crappy hero's journeys, like crappy relationships, playing the crappy game of not having enough money, that's a shitty game to play. Yeah. How about a game where you play creating enough money? Yeah, so that's a very different game. So I look for games that are bigger than me and that I can grow into, where my future self at the end of 2018 on the 31st of December looks back and says, I'm so proud of you, Mandy. I'm so proud for what you have created and the trials and tribulations that you went through. So that's the hero's journey that we go through in trading.
I love that. And can you see how this is linked to? So I heard maybe a week or two ago that the difference between successful people and non-successful people is how they plan. So non-successful people don't have any plan. Successful people have a plan. And Mandy tied it exactly to that. The fact that she doesn't only think about being a hero. Like she doesn't say to people, "I'm going to be the hero," but she's planning accordingly. She's just reaching out to mentors, and I think that's what makes all the difference.
Yeah. And you know, Etienne, after our last planning session in our private group,
Yeah.
in our traders, that I plan intensely. I have a 5-year-old goal. A 5-year-old goal. I have a 5-year goal out into the future, which is my widely important goal. And then I look at, so what do I have to do every year to get to this goal? And then my yearly goal is broken down into 90-day goals. And my 90-day goals broken down into monthly goals, and monthly goals broken down to weekly goals. My weekly goals broken down into daily top 5 things that I need to do in order to get closer to my goal in 5 years' time. It's a lot of work to set up and takes me about a week to think about and
Yeah.
to create the subcategories. So I have only one really, really big goal. Let's say it's to make $10 million in 5 years' time. And everything underneath feeds that goal. In order for me to make $10 million and to be wealthy means that I want to be happy and wealthy and healthy and wealthy and contributing back to society and wealthy and not just make $10 million. In order to make that, I need to have skills on how to have good relationships, how to be the best partner, the best business partner, the best relationship partner, the best friend. We have to learn that that's a skill. It's not something that we inherently have. I have to learn how to take care of my health. So, how to eat properly, how to, and for everyone it's different. Some people, they love the vegetables. I hate vegetables. I can't eat them, but I love eating fresh salads. And I realized I have to listen to my body, because I have this thing where my body doesn't process iron properly. And that's why vegetables is actually not really good for me. And my natural diet, apart from wanting to eat chocolates, but that's a different story. My natural diet, my natural cravings for fresh salads is actually what my body needs, and not vegetables like everybody says I should need it. So listen to your body. We need to know what makes us happy every day. I plan something that makes me happy, something small, like catching up with a friend, buying something, getting a new book, or I don't know, whatever it is, going down to the beach. I consciously plan to have something that makes me happy every day, because otherwise I get depressed. Because what is depression? Depression is not having something to look forward to. And when I work with traders who are depressed, they know really well what makes them depressed, but they have no clue what makes them happy. So if you are this kind of trader, your hero's journey this year could be finding out what makes you happy. And I needed to do that as well. I needed to create a list of 50 things that make me happy. And I can tell you, it was hard to fill the 50,
Yeah.
the list of 50 up. I didn't have 50 things. And now I do. Like every Saturday, I go to my local coffee shop, where so it's they make coffee, right? The coffee roaster, and I get this freshly ground coffee from it's organic coffee from East Timor. That for me, the first smell when they ground it, and then I open the bag and I smell it.
Oh yeah.
That's happiness. Yeah, it can be as
Can
simple
relate.
as that, right? You can relate to that. And if you think about it, um, when I talk to you about this smell, right? You could remember that. You felt what you felt, Etienne. You related to that. That very moment is proof to you that when we do mental conditioning, when we do affirmations, and not on its own, I always believe affirmations are great, but they need to be as part of a bigger puzzle. Affirmations on its own, they don't work. But all the mental work is actually working because in that very moment, you could taste the coffee and smell the coffee. Can you do the same with trading success? And at the beginning, I remember when I started out and I didn't do well in trading. I was running along the beach and it's like, I am a successful options trader. Yes. But I didn't feel it. I didn't know it because I didn't have a reference point. It's like if I say to you, if you never had eaten a lemon, and I say to you, when you bite into the lemon and all, your saliva starts producing. But if you don't have experience of a lemon, you don't know what it's like. And actually, I had this conversation with a guy who loves cars. And I said to him, do you know what it's like to have motion sickness in cars? And he's like, no, never. No matter how much I would try to explain to him, he could not relate to it. And so that's the challenge that we have in trading, that we don't have a reference point of success. So what we need to do is we need to start a little taste of success of what the reference point could be. And what I do always, or what I did then starting out, I remembered where I was successful in other areas of my life, which was show jumping and skiing. And I tapped into that feeling, like I knew you can give me any horse, I can tame it. You can give me any mountain, I know how to get down. Maybe not very elegantly, but I know how to tame a mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought about, I can do the same in trading, and I transferred the feelings of success and confidence and capability into my trading. I don't know how I got there from the hero's journey, but we go with the flow, I
I
guess.
love that. Yeah, I really love the topic though, and for me, the feeling of success in trading is maybe a little bit different. For me, it's like knowing, like having this feeling or this like kind of knowledge, or like you know it that you've done the right thing, no matter like what happened, no matter what is after and before, you just did the right thing. And when you can become addicted to that and you feel that you've done the right thing, like this for me is success all the time.
I love that. I love that. So you can see it's all about the benchmarks we set for ourselves in life. If we set ourselves up for failure or if we set ourselves up for success. And so the way you describe it, Etienne, it's you set yourself up for success.
Hmm.
Because if we were to say having a dollar profit is the benchmark, then we set ourselves up for failure because there might be a drought where the market is just not suitable for our type of style of trading, and we don't have the dollar profits. But what we can always, 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 always create in every moment of life is doing the right thing. It's always with us, right?
Yeah, love
I
it.
love that. Thank you. Thank you for adding
There's a
that.
really good comment from Marilyn. Maybe you can read it and tell us if that's true or not. It's trading on your list of things that make you happy. But I also want to go back on a topic you mentioned, something you mentioned before, which is the fact that like we are all different, and you look at yourself, you know what makes you happy, and you can look the same thing in trading, like what you need to succeed. And not everyone here is going to need the same thing. Like you cannot say, well, trade this thing here. Like I'll give you this paper, trade that, and you're going to be successful. So everyone is at a different level, and they all need to work on different things. So I kind of want to know, how do people know what to work on, and how do they know how to progress from the point where they are at right now to their next step in the hero journey?
Um, so I'm just catching up with the.
Yeah, sure.
um, so there's several levels to trading. If you are Maurice, we saw your question. How about just type your questions into the question box for now, and then we can see which questions we have the ability to respond in this context. Yeah. So when we start out, often because it's such a different context of the world, it's such a new world, it's so unfamiliar to us, we have the feeling that we don't have enough capability. And so it's all about our emotions. When emotions, so it's all about, we feel that we are not enough. If this is the level you're at, then you need to work, obviously, you need to focus the biggest part of your work on yourself. How can I know that I am enough? And so, one answer, for example, was what Etienne said, knowing that you can always do the right thing. The biggest challenge I see with traders is that they don't trust themselves. Doing the right thing in any moment builds trust. And I always say, start with making your bed every morning. It's not about having a clean room or making your bed. It's about doing something every day that you can learn, that you can rely on yourself to do something, even though it is seemingly meaningless. That's how you build trust. When you say you do something and then you follow through and do it. Because most people, what do? They say, I do something and then they don't do it. And so they do that in trading as well. They say, I take my loss at this point, and then they don't take it. Yeah, but this is a muscle that needs to be trained on a smaller scale. Now, so that's the first step. So that's where you are saying, I'm not enough. When you move through that, you get to the point where you say, I had enough. And you don't feel bad about yourself anymore, but you don't know how to trade as yet either. And then you can start focusing on really digging down deep on creating, a skill set, a toolbox of knowledge so this is what I did, right? I studied everything under the sun. I studied GAN, I studied Elliott wave, I studied Fibonacci, harmonics, Ichimoku, candlesticks, everything. And out of that, I took bits and pieces that suited my personality that I could really relate with, and then put it together. And so I created my own strategy out of that. This is how I did it. Other traders, they can just pick up a training program from the shelf, like what Etienne offers, and run with that. So it depends again who you are as a person. But this is when you're in the high, I had enough, and then you are free in your mind to go and find out what needs to be done. But if you're still at that level where taking a loss makes you feel like crap about yourself, where you're like, I'm such an idiot, how could I do that? What's wrong with me? Will I ever make it? You need to still work on yourself more. So the next level after the I had enough is I am enough. And then you realize, wow, I don't have those strong emotional responses anymore. I kind of have a grasp of what's going on with the market, but my my results are inconsistent. And now you start putting in systems and strategies where you don't only systemize your trading strategy, you systemize your whole life, because you realize having your life organized and systemized gives you so much more freedom. And I can tell you, the only way I know to get through my life is by being so organized. Because it frees up my time. And Etienne is a master in that. And I learn a lot from Etienne in terms of organizing myself. And, I always say, like, Etienne, how do you do it? How do you manage to do so much, like your interviews and editing the videos and, responding on your rooms and your Facebook groups and your other groups as well, and on Twitter and LinkedIn. How do you do that? But Etienne is highly systemized. That's an automized as well. That's Etienne's strength. He's automized. So I can learn a lot from Etienne on that level. And so here we come, right? Hero's journey. That was my really big gap in my life. And then Etienne appears, right? My mentor in how to automize myself. Who knows, right? I just noticed. And then when you have your systems and your life organized, that's when consistency happens in your life. Yeah. So that you know, I know from my FX book and my feedback on my statistics that in April, May, June, July, I don't perform well, even August. But I perform really well in September, October, November, and January, February, March. So if my performance levels in the other months is low, I don't care because I know. I know the waves of my performance and I don't worry about it. Yeah, I do other things. And so this is part of being systemized and strategized and automized.
Love that.
I hope that answered the question.
Yeah, and Naga talked about the fact this is discipline, but I don't really believe it. I think most people like think that they need more discipline, and you hear this, like everyone I talk with someone, they always say I'm not disciplined, and but I don't think you need that much discipline. Like I don't think I'm super disciplined, but I have like all these habits that just get done and they get done and they get done, and I don't worry about them. So it's just a matter of habits and doing the same thing over and over again, and that's not discipline. That's just recurring habits, in my opinion.
But the thing is that, Chen, you have this really big vision. That is what's driving you towards that.
Probably,
That's
yeah,
what's
yeah.
getting you up. That's what's letting you do what you do, right? And so, Etienne and I, we spoke about that. I looked at Etienne's behavioral patterns. We did a psychometric testing on Etienne. He's a big visionary. Oh my God, right? It's amazing. And so often people who need discipline, they don't have a vision because they're so caught up in detail. When you have discipline challenges, start looking at why do you do what you do in terms of big vision. And I shared that in our last training, where one of my motivating factors is that I saw the 70-year-old woman hiking mountains in Peru, and I want to be like her when I'm 70. I don't want to be sitting at home and not being able to get out of my chair. That's like, whoa, scary for me. Yeah. So if you need discipline, you actually need a vision, not discipline.
Hmm.
You need a
Hmm.
motor that's driving you.
Yeah, and I think some people are really systematized, and that's what people think is discipline, but it's not really the case. It's kind of a different thing. So, NTV game, I know because I spoke with you, and I know that you're really kind of systematic, and you know what it takes, and you just do what it takes, and that's a different thing than just being disciplined. Like discipline is not always doing what's tough all the time and being in the tough zone, but it's just like doing the things that you know you need to do. So, yeah, I don't know if it makes sense, but yeah, I'm not the expert at discipline for sure. But yeah, cool. I want to go back a little bit, and maybe Mandy can talk about this a little bit. Something you mentioned, the fact that we can be at different level in our trading, and I know one thing I realized, and yeah, I realized that maybe two weeks ago, and it's just amazing how many people online are kind of bitching about educators and people who teach. Like all educators are crap, all coaches are crap, and I've been to maybe that point some what like a long time ago, 4 or 5 years ago, and I don't know if it's a like normal progression that people kind of start at this level and then they progress or they don't progress, they just go back. But I don't know what's that for and why that happened. But maybe you can have some insight on that. I don't know.
So yeah, it's really interesting. When when someone is in a life circumstance that they hate, and then trading is out there and seems to be like nirvana, and seems to be the paradise. They cannot possibly imagine that anyone wanted to be in a crappy life like they experience. That is one thing why they complain, why they think, if you were so successful in trading, why on earth would you teach? Once they get to this paradise, they realize that it's like going on a holiday, right? After a few weeks, like I had enough of sitting by the beach and sipping my cocktails. I'm bored now. I want to do something new. Once you have mastered trading, as I said before, you look for the next hero's journey because you have you have mastered one journey, and then it's like, what now? And if you don't grow, you die, Tony Robbins says, and I agree with that. So that's one aspect to it. Another aspect to it is it's also what are your values in your life. Now I know traders, they only trade and they're amazing traders and they make shitloads of money, and all they do is trade and hang out with their family. So one guy in Brisbane, amazing trader, has 3 kids. You don't know about him, you don't hear from him, doesn't want to talk to anyone. That's what he does. So family is really important. And trading, he has different values to what we have. For me personally, the value of contribution is really high. I love coaching, love teaching, and I think that it's a talent and it's a gift that I received. That if I don't use it, it's going to rot. And I feel that the world is such a shitty place sometimes when you see what people do to animals and to. Now, I was working with a trader last week. He was severely abused as a child. Like, man, there are evil people around. I can't possibly imagine. I grew up very sheltered and taken care of, and I cannot imagine what he went through. And for me to be able to help him to find peace with his past, because we can't change the past, but we can find peace in it in some level, and to be able to go out and create maybe new relationships. He's an amazing trader, right? Money, no objection, no problem. Trading, he's got that handled, but no personal relationships, so very lonely because of what he went through as a child. Why wouldn't I do that? And if it hadn't been for trading, he would never have reached out for me to work with him. I'm the first person he ever reached out to, and he's in his 40s. So you can imagine you're living 40 years of a crappy life. So you can see that values in my life are very different to someone else. And so if someone says to me, well, if you were a good trader, if you knew how to trade, you wouldn't teach, then I say that is your values. That means that money might be most important to you. But I have a much broader spectrum of values, and I might be a little bit more evolved because at the beginning I started out the same. It's like all I want to be is like a full-time trader and not deal with the world and not deal with crappy people. I had to grow and evolve as a person in order to succeed in trading. And as I grew and evolved, I found peace with myself. My self-worth grew, my self-love grew, everything grew. And then I actually enjoyed hanging out with people more because I liked myself better. And if you like yourself better, you like other people better. So you're less judgmental. There you go. I hope that answered your question.
Oh yeah, I love the answer. That's why I asked Mandy, because I knew we would have like a long, complete answer. So I love it. Really amazing. Thank you.
Sorry.
That's great. So if you have a new question, comment below. I have to pack my microphone soon and leave for Singapore. So if you guys have any question, we'll answer them quickly. But then I have to pack everything and go. And but yeah, that's gonna be the last live here, and then we'll go do more when I travel and stuff. I hope if the internet's good. By the way, if you guys in Singapore, comment below in the chat, and we'll try to do a meetup or something. I'm not sure yet how it's gonna look like, depending on the jet lag and stuff. But yeah, we'll see.
Should we just quickly, Maurice with Forex Brokers, which country are you from, Maurice?
How many pairs do you trade? I'll answer that one quickly. I trade about 15 pairs. I might reduce in the future. I might add more in the future. I don't know. But for now, it's about 15 pairs. And it's not about the number of pairs that you trade. It's about what are your strategy work on the pair you trade. That's like the basic answer.
Yeah. And
More
USA.
USA, okay. So plenty of options here.
Yeah, I don't know Forex brokers in the US because the problem with you guys is you're not allowed to open accounts here in Australia, for example. And so I wouldn't know which brokers you can go with. I don't know, maybe Etienne can.
Yeah. Of course, it's broad, like medium size account. This is, I don't know what medium size is, but like there's plenty of options. There's Quest Trade, which I don't like the platform, but there's Oanda. I don't know if they have an account in the US. FXM is
Yeah,
not there anymore. Pepperstone, I know works. Interactive Brokers works.
are you guys
Maybe
allowed
Naga.
to?
I know Naga had a few kind of trials with different brokers. Maybe you can comment below. Forex.com I think works too. Those are all like old brokers, so they've all been there for a long time.
I didn't know USA can open with Pepperstone because Pepperstone's like our local Melbourne
Yeah, I
broker.
know you can in Canada, but I'm not sure about the US. You would have to verify for sure.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure they're not US. So, mm. um, so Ise Baltasar, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, Ise or Ise, but it's not about. So some people, what they do is some traders they have a strategy and they run all the pairs through that strategy. And others, yeah, can't open with Pepperstone. Others, they have a pair that they focus on, and they know that pair so well, and they know the fundamental aspects of the pair, as well as the technical aspects, and that's how they trade this one pair. So, what choice you need to make is: do you have one overriding strategy that you apply, that you run a scan through, or if you focus on one pair and you know that pair so well, like your kids or like your dog. So, thanks, Naga. Think or
Yeah, awesome
swim.
answer,
Yeah,
Naga. Thank you.
yeah, awesome. Think or
Mandy, yeah,
swim.
what's your website, Mandy? So people can
It's
visit it.
tradingpsychology.com.au.
Love it. We'll put a link below for
Yeah.
you guys watching the replay after that. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, Etienne, the time has come. We have to let you go.
Yeah, I'll just answer Naga's question. So when you come back to Montreal, I have this thermometer on my suitcase. I'll leave here, and when it's gonna be above 10 degrees, I'll come back. No, I'm not sure yet, but it's gonna be around April. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
but now with the minus 30, it's kind of too low. So yeah, sorry for
Mm.
yeah, it's the weather thing. But yeah, it's all right.
Maurice, I can ask this question on Twitter, but and then I will let Etienne know, and then he can put a link on underneath. I don't know. Um, Cool. But we need to let Etienne go because he
Yep.
needs to pack.
Thanks guys for watching. We appreciate. And next time I'll catch you
Thank
guys
you.
back. Maybe a vlog at the airport. I'm gonna leave to Singapore. So thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys maybe next week. We'll see. Ciao. Thank you,
Thank
Mandy.
you. Thank you, everyone. I laugh at